The United States Constitution, the framework of our federal government, the outline of the rights and responsibilities of the U.S. citizens, the supreme law of the land. The U.S. Constitution gives us the ability to be freer people under the law. However, there was a precursor to the Constitution. It was called the Articles of Confederation. The Constitution and the Articles of Confederation were both created for the same purpose: to make the U.S. a better and safer place so that people would not have to fear the government becoming tyrannical. However, the Constitution did a significantly better job at achieving this goal than the Articles.
Especially after our nation was created, the Articles of Confederation was established as a national doctrine with the purpose of laying out the functions of the United States government. When the founders created the Articles of Confederation, they feared the federal government might become tyrannical if it had too much power. Therefore, they placed most of the power within the states. There were many unexpected problems that arose, the main problem being that the federal government lacked a lot of necessary power. The federal government was unable to tax the people, manage the economy, or conduct any trade or foreign policy. Under the Articles of Confederation, the federal government was unable to enforce any laws or regulations created by the states, leading to a weaker, less unified government. Because all of the unforeseen problems with the Articles of Confederation, this prompted the draft of a new law of the land constitution.
The Constitution was created with the knowledge that changes would have to be made to face future problems and to adapt and grow alongside the nation. Therefore, a policy for amending the Constitution was created. This requires an amendment to be proposed by the national government and ratified by the state governments. This allows all parts of the United States government to approve the amendment while also ensuring that it isn't too easy or too difficult to amend. The Articles of Confederation also tried to create a system to amend the Articles, but it was much less successful because they required a unanimous vote from all states with no input from the national government. Since the states couldn't decide unanimously on an amendment, amendments to the Articles could not be made.
Under the Constitution, there are 3 branches of government with a bicameral legislature and a system of checks and balances between the branches. This is extremely important because each branch has its own powers, while also ensuring that one branch doesn't become more powerful than another. The executive branch concerns enforcing and carrying out the laws, the legislative branch concerns lawmaking, and the judicial branch evaluates the laws. Each branch makes sure the other branches don't have too much power. The Articles of Confederation only had a legislative branch with a unicameral body. This is a problem because each state is only allowed one vote regardless of the population of the state. A bigger state's vote would have had the same value as a smaller state's vote. Without an executive branch, Congress has to resort to relying on asking the state governors to enforce and carry out laws. Since there was no enforcement of the laws, the government had no incentive to comply. No judicial branch caused the same problem because there was no one to enact a punishment for not complying.
In the Articles of Confederation, there was too much power given to the states. The only powers given to the national government were powers expressly given by the states. In some cases, for example taxation, the national government had no choice but to rely on the states for money. If the states didn't like what the federal government was doing with the money, there was no obligation for the states to provide funding, and there was nothing the federal government could do about it. Each state was like its own independent and sovereign nation within the U.S., and the federal government had no power to regulate these disputes and arguments. Under the Constitution, the nation was officially named the United States of America, and because of the inherently federalist belief and the improved sharing of powers, the states were a lot more united under the Constitution. This meant the nation could function better.
To summarize, the Constitution and the Articles of Confederation were both written with the intent of organizing the power of the government. The Articles did a poor job, giving too little power to the national government from fear of tyranny. The Constitution did a much better job, evenly distributing power amongst the state and national governments, and even going further to distribute the power in the national government into 3 powers that check each other to make sure none of them obtain too much. While the Articles were written with good intentions, the Constitution allowed the United States to become what they are today, one of the strongest and most free countries in the world.